Good morning, beautiful, magnificent mommies. Um, wow, it has been a busy morning already for me, but I committed to doing 18 days of Mom Spiration with you ladies. I know that some of you will be able to hop on live and some of you will be able to watch this later, but for all of you, I just want to say good morning. I'm excited to share with you. I'm excited to be just spend this time with you every morning for 18 days. I'm going to be sharing 18 Mom Spirations from my book. You heard it, Mom Spiration. You may have the book, you may not. It's not a requirement. Just sit back and enjoy. We want to have discussion and kind of talk a little bit about what inspires us and how we can get on the road to where we want to be as moms. But before I begin, I want to share something from the introduction of this book because it is so telling as to what my original view or dream of who I would be as a wife and mom, and how unrealistic and how much pressure and stress I put on myself to try to fit into this box. And so you may be able to relate to some of it. So I just want to share that with you this morning. It's from the introduction of my book, Mom Spiration. This is the woman that I thought that I would be. I would be sexy, vivacious, and supportive wife. I would be sweet, but not a pushover. I would be firm, but not a drill sergeant. I would be feminine, but don't mind getting my hands dirty. I was fashionable and always fit. I was a masterful career woman. I was president of the PTA. I would never, ever drive a minivan. I would cook healthy meals for my family every day. I kept a spotless, luxurious home. I threw amazing dinner parties. I raised perfectly behaved children. I traveled to exotic places with my family in tow. I was a present and perfect friend. I was powerful and impactful minister. And I was a great leader and world changer. I had it all at once. And I look at that list, and some of those things at different points in my life I've been able to maintain. And other seasons of my life, it's almost like a joke to think that I would be able to pull that off. And so I wanted to read that because you might be there. You may have had this grandiose view of what kind of wife and what kind of mom you wanted to be and what kind of career and what life was going to look like. And then you look around yourself and you're like, this isn't exactly what I envisioned. However, we have to pay attention to the seasons of our lives. And although I have never been able to be that woman in all of those capacities every single day, there are seasons and there are timings and there are parts of my life where I was able to step into those roles and be that person. And so you have to recognize what season you're in. But we're going to talk about that in following weeks. What I wanted to point out for our very first time together this morning is that the girl that you thought that you were is still in there. She's still there. The wife that you wanted to be is still there. The mother that you wanted to be is still there. You have to give yourself grace and you have to give yourself time to grow and become who God created you to be. You also, and this is the point of this entire series, you have to focus on the fact that the only role that you play doesn't have to be that of a mom. And although that is one of the most important roles in our lives, obviously, as mothers, you have to know that God has a plan for you. And He had a plan for you in your mother's womb. And He didn't cancel His plan when your pregnancy test became positive or when you adopted your first child or however your family came about. God's plans were not canceled. He doesn't change his mind regarding our purpose. He doesn't change his mind regarding the things that he wants us to accomplish in life. They may look differently than what we planned. But I want to share out of this first chapter, Mom Spiration number 1. And Mom Spiration number 1 is, let them, being our children, our family, our spouse, see an example. Let them see an example. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about regarding an example is the tendency that many of us have to live vicariously through our children. I've done it. We've all done it probably at some point where we have gotten our esteem or our just kudos, so to speak, from the accomplishments of our children. And it's so easy to do. But God called you to do something. Yes, he called you to be an encouragement and a support to your children and to your spouse, but he also called you to do something. And so knowing what seasons and timings are a part of the life that he created for you, it's important for us to not get trapped in putting the pressure on our family to please us or make us happy. But the flip side of that is to lose ourselves and who we are and the dreams and the goals and the aspirations or even the purpose that God put on the inside of us, losing that in the midst of parenting, because it can be work. Parenting is work, whether you have 1 child or 10 children. I have 6. I get it. It's a lot of work. And it's easy to lose yourself in that. But the most important thing to understand is that God created you to do something specific. So I pose a question to you. And you can answer this to yourself or you can answer it in the actual comment section. Do your children know who you are? Not the role of mom. Not the person that, manages the household or cooks the meals or changes the diapers or any of that. Do they know who you are? And I had to ask myself this. Do my kids know who Karla is? Who she is to the core? What her calling is on her life? The passions and the dreams and the things that God has put on the inside of Karla. Do my children know who Karla is? And so I want you to ask yourself that, Mary and Devin. Ask yourself, do my children know who I am? Outside of the role of caring for them every day, outside of the role of all of the things that I do, who am I? And have I revealed that to them? Sometimes I think our kids kind of have this view of us as being this superhuman authority that, maybe doesn't have feelings and dreams and goals because we present ourselves that way sometimes, and don't give them a chance to really get inside of who we are. We may have intimate relationships with them based on who they are, but do they know who we are? So ask yourself that. And if your answer is no, not really, then the goal is to share your dreams, your goals, your aspirations, even what you wanted to do when you were a little kid. Just all of these things that are on the inside of you that we reserve for maybe a conversation with our friend, right? Or even a conversation with our spouse. I'm not talking about the deep, dark stuff, but I'm just saying share what you dream of doing. Share what your aspirations are with your children. Let them in on the pursuits and the goals and the dreams that you have, and they'll begin to see you more than just mom, but mom as a holistic person, if that makes any sense. Because that's the beginning of them. You've always supported them in their dreams and their goals. That's what moms do, right? But that gives them the opportunity to support you. That gives them the opportunity to cheer you on as you pursue the things that you want to pursue. So ask yourself that. If your answer is no, then maybe you need to do some sharing. Maybe you need to just sit down with your children or help them be a part of what it is that you're doing. And we're going to talk more about that in the following weeks as well. I just wanted to lay a foundation so that together we can kind of understand where we're going with this. But learning to not live vicariously through our children, but to live our own dreams and goals. And then really, do our children know who we are at the core as a person? And if your answer is yes, then that's amazing. Then that gives them the opportunity to celebrate you and to cheer you on as you go for the things that you're interested in. So I did a poll before I wrote this book, and I polled, I think it was like 80 people. I can't remember the exact amount. It's been a couple years. But I polled about 80 people online all across my social media, and I asked them, as a child, and these were adults anywhere between 25 and 60, and I asked them, were you more likely when you were growing up to do what your parents said or do what your parents did? Did you observe their words more than their actions, or did you observe their actions more than words? And I believe it was like 86, 87% said they observed their parents' actions. They were either inspired or not inspired by their actions, but their words meant much less because they were looking for evidence of those words. And so I say that not in necessarily a parenting way, but we always tell our children to reach for the moon. We always tell our children to, reach high and, the sky's the limit and you can do it. But they have to see us doing that. They have to look at what we're doing and say, if mom can do it, if dad can do it, then I can do it. So other than us just mentioning that to our children, it's important that we find ourselves about our Father's business. And that is the purpose on our own lives, so that our children can see us accomplish something, because it does wonders for them to be able to see an example right in front of their eyes. And again, we all know children pay more attention to what we do than what we say. And so those are the 3 things that I wanted to focus on this morning. Stepping outside of the box, being bold, being courageous, trying something new outside of our regular role as mom. Number 2, making sure that our children know who we are. Because being a mom is one of these most amazing roles that we can be blessed to play. But there's more. God has more for you. He has more for your life. And He wants you to be able to inspire your children as you go for the things that you've always dreamed of, the things that have just been hidden or in the back of your mind, or you just kind of let go. God sees it, and He wants it to come to pass as much as you do. So it's important that we allow our kids in on that. And then, as I said before, showing them more than telling them is going to be the greatest gift that we can give our children, is to show them a mom who is passionate, who is determined, who is brave, who doesn't give up. And we're going to be talking about all those things as well. But I just want to encourage you this morning to dust off those old journals, dust off those old dream lists and goal lists, and decide what you want. Decide what you want. Determine what season you are in and go for it. You may be in a preparation season where you're just learning, and we'll talk about that. Or you may be in a season where it's time to jump on something and make it happen. Or you may be in a season where you're helping someone else make something happen. Whatever season you're in, I encourage you to take the bull by the horns and go for it. Your children, your husband, your household, yourself, you will all be better for it. And so that is our first Mom Spiration this morning. Let your children, let your household, let your family see the example by you doing and being all that you're called to be, and in turn will inspire them to do the same. So that is it for our first Mom Spiration morning. I hope you ladies have an amazing day and that you think about the things that we talked about today, and I will see you here at the same time tomorrow. Bye-bye.